What's good people? Welcome back to Whole Views. Thank you for clicking that thumbnail. My name is Corey, and today we're going to be talking about the cocaine bear. So for this video, I'm going to do the likes, I'm going to do the dislikes, and I'm going to do it in spoilery fashion because the movie's been out for a week now, and I feel like I'm free to discuss it just as openly as possible here with you all. Let's start off with the likes. Overall, I must say that Cocaine Bear was cool. It was pretty fun. It's kind of weird because I'm going to say this in the likes and I'm also going to say this in the dislikes. The tone of the movie is kind of all over the place. You have your moments where you laugh. You have your moments where it's pretty tense. You never really have any serious moments, which is pretty cool. And it gives a vibe of a fun movie, kind of like you were sold it was going to be in the trailers. O'Shea Jackson Jr., I really liked his character. I really liked his little storyline as being the reluctant drug dealer. I liked all his interactions. And again, any interactions that he had with the bear and also Ray Liotta. I like Ray Liotta's character. I liked all the dynamics of the characters in the movie, but it really quickly leads me into my dislikes when talking about the movie. I don't feel like there was a main character. Trying to stay inside the lights category for just a little while longer, I do like the comedy that was brought here. I do feel like the audience that I watched it with, some of the jokes actually went over their heads, and that's all good. I think my age kind of lends me to understanding a few more of the 80s terminology a little bit better than some of the people who may have been watching the movie as younger people. Overall, I'll say that I really enjoyed the movie, though. I am positive on the movie. There were some very enjoyable moments. I like the bathroom fight scene. That thing was crazy. Again, anytime the bear was on screen, it was pretty doggone cool. The gruesomeness of a film is actually a positive for me because you never know how far things are going to go, and they didn't shy away from anything. They showed you just how horrific a bear attack can be if the bear is as vicious as this bear was portrayed to be. So it was cool to see all the gore that they included with this movie. But I must now transition from the likes into the dislikes. And the thing that I didn't like about the movie is one of the things I also liked about the movie. It's like the tone was kind of all over the place. At times, I really felt tense and it was done well. And at times, I really laughed hard and that was done well. My biggest issue, though, is that I don't know what this was meant to be. That's something that's a negative for me. While I did enjoy myself, I didn't know what I was enjoying. I was like, should I be laughing here? Should I be tense here? What is the overall vibe that y'all going for? And it just never came across. And I feel like it never came across because of the other point that I mentioned earlier. I don't feel like there was a main character of the movie. I guess the bear is the main character, but it wouldn't be the protagonist. We're just watching it mangle people. So here's my experience breaking it down part by part. When the movie opens, you would think that we're going to follow the kids in the way that the kids found the cocaine, messed around with the drugs, and went through that. But you don't. Then I thought, okay, we've introduced to Alden Reich, I think his name is, the young Han Solo. Hadn't really seen him in a lot of stuff, but he's here in this movie. You got O'Shea Jackson Jr., you got Ray Liotta. Okay, maybe we're going to be following the drug dealers and them recovering the cocaine while all the bear stuff is happening on the other end. But we don't. You introduce to the detective, and I'm like, yo, the detective is a recognizable face. Maybe he's going to be the through line throughout the movie that we are watching and seeing how things progress. And he's like tracking the movements of the bear. We seeing it as the audience, and he's catching up. Like maybe that's the route they're going to go. And they didn't do that either. So ultimately, I feel as though I'm left with the feeling of not really knowing who to connect with in this film. And that's my big negative, the fact that I don't feel like I connected with anyone in the film. I just kind of watched everything play out. And that's not a bad thing. And I don't want to come across as like, oh, he didn't like the movie because there's no protagonist. That's not really it. It's more along the lines of, I don't know who I should be cheering for, and I don't know who I should be connected to. And I didn't feel connected to anybody ultimately. So that is a little bit disappointing because that's the normal way that stories are told. It's weird. I'm left in a weird place because I do want to give my hats off and give kudos to Elizabeth Banks because she did everything that she attempted to do very well. The funny moments were funny. The scary moments were scary. There was even a few like jump scares where like the bear bust through the window and grabbed the old boy by the face and like he's ripping people's heads off and like really gruesomely attacking people. And it was tense moments. Like you don't know where this bear is as it was going after people. But then at the same time, I'm just left in a weird place because did I just go watch a comedy? Did I just go watch a horror? what did I just go watch? Is the ultimate feeling I come away with. In pre-production, talking with my guy, we talked about the fact that, man, why didn't you go see anything else? Because this is not one that I suspected that you would pay money in a theater and, move your schedule around to go see, because that is a labor for me to go and see a film in the theaters. He imagined, and I kind of agree at this point, that maybe this is one that I should have waited until it started streaming and call it that way. But at the same time, I don't want to come across as a person saying like, I regret watching this movie or I didn't have a good time with it. Like, no, I laughed when it was funny. I really enjoy the bathroom fight scene. Like, I think back to that moment where O'Shea Jackson Jr. was just giving it to them boys, and it was just very comedic, and I enjoyed the time on screen. Like him losing his fingers, the bear crushing Aldenreich, like all that stuff was very funny. Let's wrap up by saying this. Was this movie a good time? Yes. Is it the best movie ever? No. Do I regret going to see it? Nah, I had fun with it. I thought it was a fun film. I think it was marketed as a fun film, had some scary moments, had some laughs, ultimately had a good time, although it's kind of just watching a whole story play out instead of following a protagonist and seeing an antagonist and seeing that traditional style storytelling. It was a different type of story being told. And that does lead me to want to give kudos to Elizabeth Banks. I think that's the ultimate place where I'll leave it. She did a good job molding this into something unique and different, because I can't remember seeing a film that's quite like this one, in the vein of comedy, horror, that's following a medley of characters. So good job. I think it was good. I would recommend people to see it if you're into an R-rated horror comedy style film. It was good. Thank you so much for watching thus far. If you have, enjoy yourself, guard your heart, and go watch something good.